All right, I'm going to try this again. Coming at you from my backyard. If we get cut off, then I don't know. I'm just going to have to try it without the Wi-Fi. But hope you guys are doing well. I'm coming at you from my backyard, and I'm just going to wait for a little bit for some of you guys to hop on. And then we're going to get started with this. So as you're coming on, just comment below where you're coming at so I can see who I'm talking with today. And we'll get this rolling. I want to talk to you today about how you can make your next deal, your next $10,000 to $15,000 in the next 60 days or less, using a technique that I call lead prioritization. So we're going to get rolling with this in a little bit, but I'm going to talk about lead prioritization, and I'm going to talk about how to go about getting your next or first deal. So as you're coming on, comment below. Say hello, and comment below if you've got your first deal or not, or if you've done a deal or you've not done your first deal. Comment below. I want to know, and we'll talk about this. So, a lot of people, when I get started working with them in my coaching program, they're like, "Man, how many people do I need to contact in order to find my next deal? When can I expect to find my next deal or first deal?" Or, people don't want to talk to me. Every seller wants retail. I don't really believe that this can happen, and you get excuses from many different angles. But what I'm going to talk to you today about lead prioritization is a way to skip ahead, to fly ahead past the curve of people that are kind of wasting your time, tire kickers, and get to really dealing with the people that are not going to waste your time. I mean, I'm sure just in regular life, you kind of learn to do this, right? We talk to people on a daily basis, and when you start talking to people, you can pretty much tell right off the bat who's going to be a time waster and where maybe you're going to have some synergy with some people, or you're going to have some mutual type relationship. Well, when it comes to doing real estate deals, wholesale deals, the same exact thing comes into play here. Your first step when you are doing this is to make sure that you are using what I call lead prioritization. So, step one of lead prioritization is making sure that you are going after the right lists. Now, what does that mean for COVID-19? And what does that mean for what we're looking at in the current market right now? We have different types of lists, and that's something that hasn't changed, right? We have our distress lists and we have our non-distress lists. Those are two different lists that don't change no matter what market you're in. Distress list and non-distress list. So what is a distress list? A distress list is tax delinquent, code violation, vacant, probate, water shutoff, properties that are in pre-foreclosure. These are all distressed lists. And then there are non-distressed lists. So you've got non-distressed lists, which is like free and clear property where there's like nothing else that would seem to indicate that property would maybe even entertain an offer. That's usually where you're going to get when you contact those people. It's going to be like, you contacted me, so you make me an offer, right? I'm sure you've heard that before. Then there are absentee. Now, absentee is typically a non-distressed list in and of itself. But absentee in and of itself is a really good list if you're just kind of like blowing through leads, whether it's through texting or calling or something along those lines. But in and of itself, it's usually a non-distressed list. So people that are just getting started need to start and focus on distressed lists. So you want to get your tax delinquent, your code violation, your probate, eviction, all those type of lists right there, and focus on those lists, because those are the lists right there that they're going to need your help, especially during this time. So one of the biggest mistakes that you can make in this business is going after, if you're just getting started, going after a non-distressed list and trying to do it on a small budget. It's just not going to work. You're going to get people that are going to want full retail for their property, and rightfully so. You're going to get people that are like, why in the world are you contacting me? And you're going to get burnt out so quickly based on going after this type of list, just because people don't care what you have to say, and they have zero need to hear what you have to say. So that's really, really important when it comes to understanding the two different types of lists that are out there, distress list and a non-distress list. So once you do that, once you establish that you are going to go after distress lists, then you need to work the second part of the system, the second part of lead prioritization, and that is prioritizing the leads that you're dealing with as they are coming in. So a lot of people, they get responses from people, whether it's a non-motivated seller or somebody that seems warm. And what happens is they just kind of cast them to the side, and then they go after the next lead completely. Here's the lead that comes in, they throw it to the side, and then from there, they just keep repeating that same cycle over and over and over again. And they constantly get in the mode of, where's my next lead? Where's my next lead? Where's my next lead? Where all the while, they're just basically spinning their wheels because they're not prioritizing the leads when they talk to the people, right? Because this is when you're going to start to hear, and this is where you might be saying this yourself, or this is something that you might hear from other people. Everybody wants retail. Everybody I talk to wants retail. This system doesn't work. Wholesaling doesn't work because everybody wants retail. So when you are hearing that, that is because you are simply just going after the next lead, the next lead, the next lead, and not prioritizing your leads on the follow-up side. So a healthy business looks like this. A healthy business in wholesaling consists of consistent outgoing marketing to the priority type lists, and then consistent follow-up. All my students, what I teach them is that they absolutely must work the leads that are, or their brand new leads that they're going after. And then they also must set a goal to follow up with a certain amount of leads every single day. That is consistent. That is a model that will produce consistent deal and lead flow by working it that way. So lead prioritization, this is why it's important. So, to start off with, we had some connection there. But to start off with, you're prioritizing the leads that you're marketing to. And then for the follow-up, I'm going to move a little closer to the house here. Maybe that'll help. So make sure we have good connection here. And then you want to prioritize people. All right, let's see here. I apologize for that connection. You know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to move into the house by the Wi-Fi. How about that? All right, bear with me. All right, let's continue the show over here. All right, so you want to make sure that you are consistently following up with the leads as they come in. And you want to prioritize those leads so that you are focusing on the people that have a potential situation to where they're going to want to work with you. And how can you do that? You can do it by asking one question. So a lot of people say, you know what? Nobody's motivated. Everybody wants me to make the first offer, and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. Well, you need to learn how to talk to people, and you need to learn how to ask the right questions. And let me go ahead and comment below. I'm going to ask you guys, besides asking why somebody wants to sell, what is the next most important question? Okay, listen, I just asked you a question there. Besides why somebody wants to sell, what is the next important question after that? Because if you get this question right, then you're going to be able to understand what's going on, really going on with the seller. And even if they do seem motivated, if this question is off, you still might be wasting your time. So what is the next best question? There it is, Elijah. Somebody nailed it right away. The when. The when is absolutely the best next question. And why is that? Because a lot of people are holding their cards close to their chest, right? A lot of people right out the gate, they do not want to tell you, oh yeah, I'm going to sell my house at a discount. Oh yeah, I'll take a really discounted price right off the bat. A lot of people are hoping, they're hoping that you are going to be the next fool that's going to give them absolute retail for their house. It is what it is. You have to understand the mindset of people. The mindset is, I'm in a really crappy situation right now, and I am hoping that this person, you, whoever, is going to solve my crappy situation, and I'm going to come out way better than if I was to try to solve my crappy situation myself. They're hoping for that. So they're going to give you a crazy astronomical price. So when you ask them the when, then things start to come to fruition, right? When do you want to sell? Well, man, we do really need to sell in the next 30 days. Okay, well now we follow up with that with another why, and maybe now that starts to break down the real situation that's going on. When do you need to sell? 30 days. Oh, really? Wow, that seems kind of quick. Even with COVID-19, why in the world would you want to sell in 30 days? Well, I'm afraid that my foreclosure process is going to start up again. Or, well, my tenant hasn't been paying me that much, and hasn't been paying actually at all. And I'm in a situation to where I feel like I'm going to get behind with the mortgage company if the tenant doesn't pay. Or the city has put some kind of a code violation in place and I need to rectify it by a certain date. And if I don't, I'm going to get fined. That is asking the right question. That is the why. That is the why. And the why will most certainly always uncover the when. So if you're just joining me right now, I've been talking about lead prioritization. Lead prioritization. The first part of that is knowing what leads to go after, and especially now during COVID-19, which again, I'm not going to give my predictions on COVID-19 and all that kind of stuff, but this is something to where we're going to start to come out of it potentially, and there's going to be a big surge in the economy and a big, like a catapult kind of. So if you look at it, a lot of the economy has been held back, but not held back in a way where it just kind of stopped the momentum, held back in a way to where it's going to fling forward, right? Because it's been held back. People have got money, they want to spend it, but also people have problems that didn't go away. They've just kind of been held back. And now when it gets released, it's gonna boom right in your face. It's gonna shoot forward, and you've got to be there, and you've got to be ready to position yourself with that. You see, a lot of people right now have just been kind of taking it easy. Wholesalers even have been taking it easy. They're like, nobody wants to sell their house, so I'm just going to take it easy, and I'm not really going to, I don't really want to talk to people right now because they wouldn't move if they really had to or anything like that, right? But if you've been listening to me, you know that people still do need to sell their house. There are cash buyers that are looking for properties right now, and the game is still on. There are less people asking people if they want to sell their house. So it was a great opportunity to capitalize and position yourself correctly at that time. So now, if you've been a little bit behind the curve, maybe you've taken your foot off the gas. We're at a point right now to where the market is just getting ready probably to to slingshot forward, to catapult forward again. And now is the perfect time to position yourself so that you can be successful with that. So now is the time to be looking back at your processes, looking back at your marketing campaigns, looking back at your lead intake, right? Because lead intake is really, really important when you are doing lead prioritization correctly. Remember, that's what this whole Facebook Live is about lead prioritization. If you have your lead prioritization done correctly, your intake will model that. So you want to find out those pertinent details, the why and the when, about when people want to sell their house, why they want to sell their house, if they have the capacity to sell you their house, because that is going to tell you if this is somebody you need to mess with, if this is somebody that you need to either put off to the side or somebody that you need to follow up with next week, 2 weeks from now. And I'll give you another tip. Here it is, another tip, okay? And tell me this. Do you ever feel like, oh man, somebody else just got that deal? Or isn't it the worst feeling when you call somebody back and they're like, oh yeah, I actually just sold that deal. Or, oh, I thought that was you, right? These people think that they're dealing with you. Some of your competitors will tell them that they're dealing with you, and and that's not cool when that happens. But cut your follow-up time in half. Cut it in half. So if you tell people that you're going to follow up with them next week, follow up with them by Friday. If you tell people you're going to follow up with them in 2 weeks, follow up with them in 1 week. I'm telling you, this right here will stop you from being in a situation to where it's like, oh man, they sold it to somebody else. Oh, my competitor got that deal, right? So remember, cut your follow-up time in half, especially when you dialed in lead prioritization and you make sure that you're following up with people that actually need to sell their house and want to sell their house and they're bona fide leads. Make sure you cut your follow-up time in half. All right. So that is lead prioritization, guys. If you have any questions, comment below. I'm going to scroll through here some of your comments that you've got below. But as you guys are thinking about the questions that you want to ask, and I'll stay on for a few minutes. I might need to plug in my phone because I think I'm losing battery. But drop your questions below, and I'll stay around and answer them for a little bit. But if you guys need help with any of this, you need help with trying to figure out what lists to go after, how to go after those lists, what leads to prioritize, how to do some follow-up. Maybe you've got some questions about some deals that you're working on and you need some help trying to figure out what you should do with that lead, what should you offer, how you should go about negotiating, all that kind of stuff. I've got a coaching program where I can help you out with that and be there for you on a weekly basis to hold you accountable so that that way you can capitalize during this time. All right, I'm going to plug in my phone here real quick, so hold on. All right, let me see here. You guys got some questions here for me. All right. 9 vacant homes, just getting my boots wet. Junior, good job. Vacant is a really good list to go after right now. Obviously, it's a very competitive list because it is typically a smaller list. But let me tell you where you win with vacant properties. A lot of people stop after that initial contact where they can't get a hold of somebody because the property is vacant and because the contact is hard. You win with vacant properties when you go a second layer. So a lot of people stop when they can't get a hold of somebody, but if you go a second layer, and that might be reaching out to a relative, that might be going knocking on the neighbor's door, whatever it is, go one step further, and that's where you win with vacant properties, and that is where you hit, some big home run deals. Let's see. Does it make sense to go after foreclosures right now? Yes, absolutely. Sean, you remember I told you about the situation where that catapult gets pulled back and then shoots forward. And by the way, guys, I'm giving you some tips here. If you are appreciating these tips, don't be afraid to hit that like button. Let me know. Do you appreciate this? Is this stuff that you already know? Or are you like, oh yeah, dude, everybody knows that? Or are you feeling this? Are you like, yes, I love this information. I could take this information and I could go and make $20, $30, $40, $50,000, $10,000, whatever it is, some life-changing information. If that's you, give me some hearts, give me some love, give me some fire, give me some comments. And you know what? When you do that, I give you more great information. It's just, I don't know. It's just some magic. So I appreciate that. All right. Let's see here. Does it make sense to go after foreclosures right now? Yes, go after the pre-foreclosures, because remember that catapult and that slingshot forward, boom, right? That happens because right now people are in a spot where it's a moratorium, meaning people's foreclosures are going to start up again here really, really soon. And you know what that means? That means is that you're going to have like what are you going to have, like 3 months to get those deals done before they go back to auction again. The biggest problem people have with pre-foreclosures is that they do not have enough time to finish that deal to get it to closing because the timeline, because they can't get title pulled, because they can't get signatures, because the foreclosure attorney is pushing forward and you're squeezed. Right now is the time to work with pre-foreclosures, because there is now time to get your ducks in a row to turn that deal into money. Zach Borger, what's up? I see you watching, man. I'm going to wave at you. Hit me up in my DM, Zach. Zach is one of our students in my accelerator program. Ross, what's up? Sean, SMS versus cold calls. So right now, Sean, here's the thing with SMS versus cold calls. SMS is something where you can boom, you can really blast some SMS out there. Make sure you're doing it in a way that's not going to get you in trouble, but it's a way that you can really crank up your lead generation with that. Cold calling, contact rates are down. They used to be like 10, 15%, but they are down at this point. One reason being is because the carriers and the numbers, a lot of people on their cell phones, if they don't know what the number is, they're sending it right to voicemail. So you got to watch out for that. I appreciate it. Best source to scrub my list against the DNC and known litigators prior to cold calling. Okay, so if you're using like Mojo Dialer, you can put yourself in a situation to where it's going to scrub those litigators for you. If you're using a skip service, like a texting service, then you are going to, a lot of those times it's going to scrub that before that takes off. Larry Higgins, what's up, man? I'm going to wave at you. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, Larry, man. Mahad says, what's your intake on sellers not being happy about low offers? How to deal with them? So remember, you have to prioritize the leads that you are dealing with. You want to talk to the sellers, but you also want to figure out very, very quickly who this type of seller is going to be. Somebody that is just looking for an offer, an opportunistic type seller, or is it somebody that is looking to do something in the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? Because if you identify the time, the when, then you know how to prioritize that seller and how to get back with them. All right, cool. If you guys have any more questions, drop them. If not, I will drop a link in the description on here as well as in the comments. And you guys, if you're interested, if you need help in your business and you want to really catapult forward now at this time, you can apply for my coaching program. Yep, I'll drop that for you. Sean, if you need help right now, I can help you get started in your business, or if you're stuck or in a reset process, I can help you with that. So I will drop a link in the comments and in the description. You can apply. We do a free strategy session. And then if it's something that seems like a fit, we'll invite you to come into the program. And it's great. You'll have monthly support. You'll be in a situation where you can get your questions answered in a predictable fashion. I mean, you can go into Facebook groups and drop your questions and things like that. But obviously, there's only so many questions that I can answer myself. So we actually have a private Facebook group as well for people that are interested in the coaching program. So I will drop a link here for you guys, and you can apply for it. Graham Solomon is on. Graham, how's it doing, man? How's it going, man? Graham is one of my coaching students. He's actually in Australia, just completed a deal in Texas, from Australia to Texas, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm waiting for him to see his picture or copy of his wire that came in. What's happening in the owner-occupied mortgage market? Joe, owner-occupied mortgage market. I just looked up and I saw that rates were like at 3.5%. I don't know if anything else is going on crazy with that. Maybe somebody else knows that's on this call here. You can just drop in the comments if you know of something that's going on in the mortgage rate that I don't. But guys, let's give Graham a big thumbs up, love for completing his first deal out of Australia. This man is in Australia and he did a deal in Texas. That is something that you guys should be excited about. And that's something that he's excited about and getting ready to rock and roll. I'm going to actually be talking to him on our call on Thursday because he's recharging here for as we're pushing forward. All right, guys. I appreciate you joining me. Guys, remember, in the group, if you see a post that you like, hit the like button. If there's something that you want to help somebody out with comment-wise, feel free to comment. If you're just getting started, don't worry about asking, foolish questions. I would encourage you to use the search bar and input your question in there, because remember, this group has been around since 2008. We have comments of people who have been in this business for a long time, from 2008, and people that are just getting started. A lot of people got their start in the group Wholesaling Houses Full Time back in 2008, 2010. Some of them have gone on to form their own other groups and things like that. But almost everybody that you've seen out there has had their start in Wholesaling Houses Full Time. And if you search in the search bar their name, or you search a question, you might be surprised what you find. There's a ton of information within that search bar. And remember, I can help you out as well if you are looking for a coaching program to get you going and then to keep you going and to hold you accountable. All right, guys, I'll see you later.